Hello, welcome to Boardgame Basecoats, and today we are playing through SEALTEAMFlix Ice Reach. Now this is the second scenario, and actually uses the same map as the first scenario, but we are here to rescue some hostages. So, they are hidden here among the randomly generated objective tokens. We've got some tangos hidden in there too, so definitely something to watch out for. We've got our cover cubes. Really do like these. They could be anything really, file cabinets and such. Their locations are also randomly generated, just making sure they are in the right spots here. We've got two locked doors, same as we did the first time. And we've got our patrols, also randomly generated. And finally, we've got our LZ. This is our evacuation area where we've got to take our hostages. We've got the same crew that we did in the first one. Here we have Marky. Marky definitely took a beating last time, and I really thought to make him combat focused. He's got 4 life here, 4 speed, and there are tokens. He's now E7 rather than E6. Now there are tokens for it, but they kind of suck, so I'm just using a die here. He is EOD. Now, I was thinking about keeping him combat focused though, so upgraded his weapon here. So he's got a submachine gun, just a little bit better. We've got a suppressor for it just to take out that noise, because noise is definitely an issue. This time around, using the ballistic armor. Now, keep in mind, I could have used items the first time around. I just didn't. As usual, I tend to keep it pretty light the first time through. Next up, we've got George. George was our combat guy for sure. He also went up in rank. He's now E7. We made him an ASO, an Advanced Special Operations SEAL here. We've got him the battle rifle. This thing goes boom! It's got a huge amount of noise. That said, we do have a suppressor for it to try to reduce it a little bit, but that is a big gun. He's also armed with ballistic armor. We want to definitely keep our guys from getting wounded. Next up, we've got Tom here. Now Tom was untouched in our first playthrough. He's also an E7, and we made him the Scout Sniper. Alright, so hopefully he can stay out of harm's way and do us some damage at a distance. So, got him with the Stayers Scout sniper rifle here, and the attachment there is a 45-degree reflex sight, so he can shoot people in the same area. Ballistic armor for him too. Now all the figures have the built-in pistol, except for Hannah here. Alright, so Hannah, because we have completed all the objectives in the first one, she went up 2 ranks, so she is a high threat protective security. So she is actually an E8. Alright, so I'm hoping that we can get her in really quick with her 5 movement and scout things out for us. So we gave her a submachine gun with very low noise. Alright, and her loadout is very silent. So we gave her a holographic sight, and this allows her weapons to shoot with a bigger set of discs. Okay, we give her a dart pistol too. It's basically a no noise shooting option. We'll see how that goes. And here we go, the snake cam. Alright, so we're going to use this to try to divine hidden terrorists from hidden objectives. So her 5 movement hopefully will really help us out. Ballistic armor for her rounds out her kits. Alright, well, let's go ahead and make sure the board's set up here. So our Marines are going to start in the evacuation zone, and unfortunately we do have a Tango right there, so we're definitely going to start automatically alerted for those Tangos. Something I didn't mention in the first playthrough, if you look, the board is pretty tight, so things will bump into each other, and I really do wish that the board was set to accommodate, a standard 28mm figs. But let's get started. Your orders are to rescue the hostages and collect any evidence you find on site. And yeah, so I really do love these boards. Wish I could play them with much bigger minis, but then these boards would be huge. Because it is the same board that I used in the first scenario, I almost thought of using the third scenario And I wish again that maybe the walls were modular or the tiles were modular, but that probably would just interfere with the flicking. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with the game as is, and the random elements here to get the game set up really are quick. So a nice quick setup for the game with just a little wrinkle when it comes to advancing your figs or advancing your crew here as you go through the scenarios. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and move Tom up. Now I'm going to go in and out with this whole using special actions and mixing it in with regular movement, or free actions rather. Anyway, he did move here, which gets a reaction, alright, from our Tango here. He did miss, which is great. Now he does not shoot the other figs, he just shoots the one that acted, alright. So Tom's going to go ahead and take him out with a knife. That said, he did get shot at, which automatically puts down an alert level of 4 there, so the alarm was raised. So we're going to have George here. Go ahead and push forward. He's going to leave that room for Hannah. So he's going to use double movement. So he's going to double time it, okay? And right here, following suit. Alright, so we're going to get Hannah in here, and we're going to get the most out of our snake cam. So let's go ahead and pull that out here. So again, what this allows us to do is peek through the door and see what's what. Now this is one of those weird things, so I think to myself, well, you know, if there was a Tango in there, wouldn't automatically, if you did open the doors, wouldn't they automatically flip over or something? But that's just not the case in this game. It really is just surprises. You reveal the good and the bad. Now here I just left the hostage revealed, just for ease, but technically I guess you should flip it over. Alright, so we are going to move our patrols. They are alerted. They are not going to follow their paths. They're going to move to the next area. So that's what they're doing here. And there are 2 spots in that area, so we're just putting them in the 2 spots. Okay. Right here we're checking line of sight, and we don't have it because of this corner. So it's the center of one square to the center of another. We are going to generate some new patrols, and that would be 2 patrols because we have a total of 4 noise divided by 2. Now, right here, I'm going through what I did in my first playthrough, this sort of Baroque spawning ritual, and it's totally wrong. Alright, so it is during this playthrough that I realized, you know, there's something weird about how I'm spawning these figs. There's just too many of them, they're coming out too quick, and I didn't remember them coming out this much. So, as I spawn the figs here, I'm basically just automatically spawning them, and that is not the case. I do figure it out as we go through here, so you will see how the game actually deals with spawning, which is a little gentler really. But here there's no line of sight to that noise marker, so it's gone. Alright, so that's a little bit of a good thing. Although this Tango does have line of sight, it's going to quick jump behind some cover, and it's going to attack, which will bring back that noise counter anyway. So as my guys are pushing in here, the noise is definitely following them in. So we do get a hit. Alright, keep in mind this is not a reaction. So he would take a point, but let's go ahead and cash in the ballistic armor. So we're just going to discard it. In this case, I'm just going to flip it. Now, getting wounded in this game is a huge, huge problem, much like the noise. So use the armor if you can. Definitely, definitely. So he's going for our other seal here, good old Casper. So instead of him taking points, he's going to cash in his armor too. So we are not off to a great start here. We've already drawn fire. Alright, so from an alert state and right back to it. Alright, so technically it should have gone to each of them, but we're just going to stick with the last one. So we've reached the end of the first round here. Alright, we've got that noise to deal with. We've got a Tango in line of sight. We've got these figs that are going to move into that room. So I'm thinking we got to get these guys out of here for sure. Alright, so right here I'm just checking line of sight. So I'm thinking I'm going to breach this room and take positions in it, but I need to be out of sight. So down here to the left I should be in better shape. Alright, so first let's go ahead and start moving our figs here. So what I'm doing here is I'm calculating So if I could move diagonals, Hana could have made it to open up that door. But because the seals cannot move diagonals, she wouldn't make it. So definitely one of the things about the game that bothers me. I really wish they could move the diagonals, but that's okay. Alright, so unfortunately he moved, which elicited reaction. He did get hit this time. He's now wounded, but he uses his free action here to open the door, and with his remaining action, he's going to go ahead and move into cover. Alright, so Casper's out of the way here. We're going to leave that door closed, because we don't want to alert those tangos that he's in there. So we're going to go ahead and move George out. Now he finishes his movement, and so we're going to say that he does not elicit reaction fire. Okay. And now it is Hana's turn here. So she's going to go ahead and use, right here I'm just doing some calculation. Should she go there and deal with some other things? But no. So let's go ahead and move the other figs. Let's get our sniper here, Tom going. So maybe he can surprise our tangos there, since they're being drawn to that noise down towards the bottom of the screen. Alright, so Hana here, she's going to kick open the door, free action. She's going to take her shot with her holographic sight, which increases the size of the discs. So instead of that burst shot taking 2 blue discs, she can use green discs. Alright, and she can place those anywhere in an adjacent square. Alright, so we're going to take a shot here at that tango. Okay, we've taken out the cover. Alright, so that one's gone. And now we've still got that tango there. So with our second shot here, alright, so that's one tango down. Now in this game there's no experience or anything like that. We just got this noise to deal with. It is in the area she shot from. And she's going to go ahead and move. So she fired and shot. She's at a diagonal here, but she can interact with things as a free action. So she's going to go ahead and pick up our hostage here, officially reveal it. So there's our hostage token. I'm going to put it here in the cleared objectives, but it's not technically cleared yet. So we're going to wait until it is. He has cleared the LZ, and then he will put him there. Alright, so we've got our start here. Now we're going to move our alert patrols. How do we know they're alert? Because there's noise. So if there's noise, the patrols will move towards that noise. So we do have some flexibility here. So we're going to go ahead and move this guy down to the biggest numbered square towards the noise. Okay. And I decide in this case, instead of moving down, I'm going to move him actually into the hall, because I'm thinking I want Tom to breach that room without any problem. So these other tangos, we're going to go ahead and move them in. They do have line of sight to that alert, so it's going to stay. So we're going to go ahead and generate here. And here's where I realized that I've been doing it wrong. Okay, so how it actually works is, so in this case, yes, I did my math right. I add it all up and I have 3. But what that means is, yeah, if I roll a 1, they'll generate on the green path. If I roll a 2, they'll generate on the yellow path. And if I roll a 3, like I did here, they will generate on the red path. All right, it really is just that simple. So I overcomplicated what is actually a very simple spawning process. So the unfortunate thing here, of course, is that they're boom. There is a tango right there next to Tom, which is a pain in the butt. All right, so our tangos that are in line of sight will take cover. Those guys in the hall are not in line of sight. They're going to stay right where they are. That other tango is, so he's going to sweep down and hit that corner. Now, he can still attack. All right, so from that corner, and so here we go. Now this is an attack roll, not a reaction roll. And so 1 hit. So again, 1 damage here, but we're going to go ahead and cash in our ballistic armor, and that will basically cancel that damage. Okay, so Tom is still technically on hit. Alright, so, but it does move the noise. Okay, so that's a good thing for us there. It moves it away from the middle of our engagement here. End of the round, so advancing things. Alright, so we need to get this hostage out to the LZ. All those people are going to sweep to the right here, and we got to make sure that they do not have line of sight to Hana or our hostage. Okay, now keep in mind that Hana does protect our hostage. That's her special ability, but we want to get these other seals sweeping into the facility so that they can reveal the location of the other hostages. So here I am just checking line of sight and determining where some okay locations are for Hana and this hostage. Okay. Now you may notice I'm using line of sight, just using one of the little mini game boards, and it's really fine. You don't need to get anything extra special to add to the game. So highly recommend it as a lineup tool. I'm kind of surprised I don't recommend it in the rulebook. So anyway, here our sniper's going to go ahead and move forward. Because he moved, he elicited a reaction. Alright, now this is a reaction. So he gets a blooded, not the double. Alright, so what this means is, we look over here, if he's received damage, then he takes a damage. But he hasn't received damage, he is not bleeding, so he's fine. So basically, the Tango punches at him or shoots at him, but misses, or it bounces off or something. So anyway, Tom does hit him. Now this is something that's not quite clear in the rulebook. Now technically the Tango is dead, but I still roll for the reaction. In some ways it makes sense, in other ways it doesn't, but I just keep it consistent. So he did something. Yes, it resulted in the Tango dying, but I'll roll the reaction die anyway, so it makes sense to me, so we just leave it. Now technically, Hana would be protecting the hostage even if it was in line of sight because of her ability, but we're going to go ahead and move the hostage right there. Keep it a little protected. Now these guys, they're going to go ahead and use free action to open the door, and his movement is not enough to get him out of line of sight, so he will elicit a reaction, and unfortunately he gets dazed here. Alright, little confusion marker. That will affect him next round. Now he does elicit the noise here. Alright, but I realize, you know what, I probably would have moved these guys first and then moved the sniper. So I am taking a little little cheat here, but it's not a huge cheat. Yes, I should have moved these guys first because I wanted that noise outside. So anyway, George here is going to go and take a shot with his second action. Alright, so his loss of action due to the dizziness, it will only happen next turn. Now here's a little something weird too. So with exactly 4, he would have landed on George. You can move through units, you just can't stop at them, even though I'm going to use all of my stuff. Yes, this is kind of a joke. I cannot take this gun out, but I'm going to go ahead and take a shot. I'm going to go ahead and move here. Alright, now he does have line of sight. Does he have line of sight to my hostage? Yes? No? Alright, no. Alright. And so we're going to move the rest of our tangos here. They're going to move towards the noise. And in this case, we move them into theirs. So here, we're counting up our noise. We have 5. We divide it by 2, round up. That gives us 3 dice to roll. And then if we have a 1, 2, or 3, that's how we know we spawn. So in this case, we don't spawn. So this is the proper way to spawn. The chances of spawning are much less, and so noise is not so dangerous. If you check out my first video, the way I was doing that, wow, noise was just a killer. Alright, anyway, we are at the end of another round. Still have not evacuated this hostage. And let's go ahead and move on to our next round and see what we've got to do. So we've got to reveal these objectives. That one we know is a Tango, so we're not going to do anything with that one. And then but we've still got plenty to do here. So we have to deal with that noise and hopefully get the Tangos away from it so that the noise does not stick around. Alright, so what are we going to do? So first off, we're going to go ahead and deal with this Tango. Our sniper is at the corner, so technically you can take a shot at the corner. So there's some lost footage here. Sorry about that. Basically, it's him taking a shot and then the reaction fire. So he did get hit. Alright, so there's the lost footage. So don't know what happened there. Anyway, our first hostage has left. And how that works is whatever seal has line of sight to them can basically give the hostage their movement. So in this case, Hana gave the hostage 5 movement. Alrighty. So the rest of our team is going to go ahead and move. We've still got 1 Tango on the board. Alright, and these guys will not have enough movement to check what's in those objective markers. Alright, so this Tango does move, and it's now right there with the big noise. We're going to go ahead and spawn. So I'm going to roll 3 dice here. Again, a roll of 1, a roll of 2, or a roll of 3 will spawn an enemy. So again, nothing. So really, it's not so dangerous. But as I was playing here, I thought to myself, well, you know, what's to stop you from wiping everyone out? So we will see exactly what happens. So there's definitely some good and bad, and it's just another choice that you can make. So you really do get this feeling of manipulating the board. So it actually is kind of cool. Alright, so here we are in the next round. We've got to deal with that Tango. We've got to get these guys to over those objectives and hopefully not reveal another Tango. We know at least one of these objectives is another Tango. We've got to find 2 more hostages. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip over this objective. Alright, it is a med kit. This is what's called an other objective, not a huge thing, but it's always good to have. We can use it against damage. Technically, any seal can use it, which is kind of nice that the game isn't so picky about that sort of thing. Alright, you have a shared pool when it comes to found items as far as the objectives go. Anyway, let's go ahead and reveal this one, and oops, it's the other Tango. Alright, so how we deal with this is we take a Tango and stick it in the room. It's just automatically there. So we're pushing over some, opening some closets, and out he jumps. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a shot at this guy. Now the Tango does not get an automatic shot when it's revealed, so they have to have been on the table to get a reaction fire. So we're going to go ahead and take our shot at this guy. Let's go ahead and place our noise down so I don't forget it. Here are our discs. Now the patrol will react to the fire. So even though it's hit, so that's why I just go ahead and make the rolls, even though technically it's dead. And the rule book really isn't clear about it, but I think this is in the spirit of the game. So, oh no, another Dizzy. Alright, so he'll lose action for next round. Alright, so Tom here, he's in a bad way. So we don't want him eliciting any reaction fire, so we're going to have Hana take the fire. So she's going to try to draw fire. Alright, so a nice tactical choice here. I really do appreciate it. And lucky, nothing. Alright, so maybe she freaked him out. So she's going to go ahead and blast him in the face. Alright, now she does not produce a lot of noise with this gun. 1 noise only. And with our holographic sight, we use big bullets, okay? So we'll use bigger discs. Now, one thing about those attachments, you really do have to check at the bottom of the weapon. It specifically says what attachments go with it. So just be careful of that and you'll be okay. So here we are. So Hana took him out. He will get another reaction fire to her. And in this case, it's a bleed. Not a double because it's a reaction. Now she has not taken any damage, so she is fine. Okay, so that guy was just shooting wildly. Alright, so Tom. Let's go ahead and move some stuff out of the way here. What is Tom going to do? What's his best course of action? And I'm thinking, you know what, let's get him opening the door and checking out that token. So here we are, the electronic lock bypass. Now keep in mind I do a mistake here, but we'll talk through it. So we're using the rookie level for the game here. So that means I get 3 of these yellow discs. It was a level 4 door, so we have 4 of these blue to place. Now here, I'm going to roll a 5, a 9, and a 10. So I'm going to place those discs there. So 5, 9, and 10. Alrighty. And then I'm going to roll 1 more. Okay. We've got a 6. Alright, so there we go. So basically I have to knock those discs out of the red square that they're sitting in right now. Alright, let's see how we do. So I do like that the game is not like crazy flicking. It really is a tactical game with some mini flicking games. It really is very cool. So anyway, our door here, we can flip it to the green side or just discard it. I'm going to go ahead and discard it. There are no patrols. Alright, so this might be a bad thing. So that means we check our board here and they will generate on the red line. Alright, on the red patrol line. Starting with box number 1, which is, boom, right there next to Tom. So once again, Tom has sprung some people. So 2 tangos get spawned, and in this case, spot number 1 and spot number 2. So Tom, all right, he kicked in the door, and boom, enemies all over the place. So, and the terrible thing is here, I have enough noise on the board. I'm gonna go ahead and roll 3 dice, 1s, 2s, and 3s. And what do I spy? 3, which means it generates in the red patrol path. 1 is filled, 2 is filled, so this one will be in the red square. So Tom has discovered a nest. This is where the patrol apparently was having lunch. Okay, so we've got plenty of noise, but we're gonna get rid of it because we have no line of sight to it, to the tangos. All right, so tangos will take cover. Technically, it's in cover right now because of that corner. Okay, so in this case, it kind of makes sense, but that tango that's in the threshold there can shoot at Tom. So anyway, reaction fire here, or I'm sorry, regular fire here. All right, so it's taking a shot at Tom. He gets dizzy. Yeah, I'd be dizzy too, Tom. So let's go ahead and move on to the end of this round, which suddenly went ugly. All right, we do have 1 hostage out. We've still got to find 2 more, so they're in there somewhere. And we've got this cluster of tangos here that we got to deal with. So, and Tom has been stunned, so he's down to 1 action. So Hana may have to save the day again here. All right, so let's go ahead and remove this token. So we've got 1 action here, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it to move. All right, we've got 2 full actions here. So we're gonna go ahead and move here. All right, let's go ahead and reveal our token here. It is not a tango, I think. Yeah, all right, great. So photographic evidence. So this is the secondary objective, which is very good. If we have rescued all the hostages and we have the secondary objective, that means everyone goes up a rank and someone goes up 2. So that's how Hana became an E8. All right, so Hana busts in the door, and she will elicit reaction fire here. They were all looking at Tom, and now they're turning around and taking a shot at her. All right, so we don't want her getting wounded, so we're going to cash in her armor. So now the last of the seals has lost their armor. So right here I'm checking line of sight because standees block line of sight. So those other 2 patrols cannot shoot her, which is great. So we're going to go ahead and blast these folks. All right, so we're going to take a burst shot. And thankfully, we've got the holographic sight, which gives us bigger discs. So what I'm thinking here is I'm going to spray the room, and the game is not quite clear what happens if you bounce and bounce and bounce and it hits multiple targets. So you have a magic bullet. Personally, I find it appealing, so I would allow it. So let's see how many figs I can take out, and the answer is I can take out 2. All right, so I do hit 2 of them with 1 bullet. Great. Okay. And now this is kind of a weird thing. So does that remaining guy get a reaction to that shot? No. All right, so anyway, we're going to take our second shot here. He'll get a reaction to that second shot, though. So I don't know if we caught all that. So actually, in hindsight, I'm wondering, did the first guy get his reaction shot? I do believe I do both here, so let's go ahead and see. First one misses. Okay, good. I did do it for both. All right, so the first guy who technically got his reaction shot, the second guy gets his reaction shot because she shot at him. She is not wounded. All right, so a lot of wounded rolls. So definitely that reaction die is not as brutal this game as it was the first time. All right, so Tom cruises in since he's not under fire anymore. So right now we're just trying to see if we can get him moving close enough to get that objective. And once again, we have no patrols. So I'm checking the color here. Oh, okay, so this is good. Yellow, there is no one there. So the patrols, the 2 patrols, will spawn on the yellow track in space number 1 and space number 2. All right, so no line of sight to anybody, so that worked out just fine. So let's go ahead and check, or go ahead and spawn here. So we've got 1 potential spawn, so we only roll 1 die. All right, if you recall in the first video, I was just spawning every round practically, so it was insane. So definitely this way is a bit better. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next round. I'm checking now. Green, all right, so in case we get rid of everybody, they would spawn in green. So definitely something to keep in mind. All right, so we've got no noise on the board. So these two will move as normal on their patrol routes. We've got these objectives. One of them has a hostage. We got to get through this double door, or this locked door, and then we got to get everyone out to that evacuation zone. All right, so who will go first? So let's go ahead and reveal this one. Hey, it is our hostage. That's awesome. So we have found a hostage. Let's go ahead and put our standee down, and let's go ahead and move him with our last point of action right there. So you move 4. And now Hana will move him. So this is kind of cool. So you can kind of get this daisy chain of movement going. And you see right here, I just loved this moment of Tom moving the hostage, Hana moving the hostage, Hana sweeping around. So cinematic. I really do like how that felt. All right, so we're going to flip to the other side of the board and see if George can pick this lock. All right, so as before, we are playing rookie level. So we've got the 3 yellow discs. And here's where I make some errors, and I think I made the same error in the first video. So anyway, we roll our die, and you see I have 2 9s. What I'm supposed to do is put a token on the 9 and another token on top of that 9. But I re-roll the dice. I mean, it's not a huge deal, but definitely something to keep in mind. So I believe that I do rectify this later when I roll a double. For whatever reason, I just wasn't paying attention in this case. So here we are, 5 tokens to knock off. All right, let's see how we do. All right, not too bad. First time out. I'm going to go ahead and move this token out of the way. Let's go and take another shot. Ooh, we got a split. It's like bowling. Terrible. All right, I didn't make it. So consequences. I didn't make it, so that elicited some noise. Let's go ahead and reset here. I'm going to use my other action to try again. Let's get this door open. So let's go ahead and roll. A 5, an 8, and another 5. So again, I should have had 2 on the 5, but I didn't do it. All right, so I will eventually catch on, but I'm making this mistake. So 3, a 5, and a 7. All right, so yeah, there we go. There we go. Good for me. Yes. All right. So that's how it's supposed to be if you roll this same number multiple times, and it does say it right there on the board. So just pay attention to stuff. There's enough hints around to really enough aids around the game to really help you. And there it is again. Another split. Ugh. Well, anyway, still got that same token there. So more noise. This is not good. We got to get out of here because the patrols, they are coming. All right. So let's see here. So our patrols, they're going to leave their paths and then move towards it. Not too terrible in this case. So they're heading towards the noise. And it's at this point where I think, I can really use the noise to my advantage. All right. So we're going to go ahead and spawn patrols. We do not spawn a patrol. And we only had the one. So we're going to go ahead and remove one of those noise counters. Go ahead and move our counter forward. We're in a yellow, just in case we wipe everyone out, but we're not going to do that unless we really have to. So this hostage has a clear shot to the exit. We've still got to reveal that objective marker. We've got that one piece of noise, and the patrols will head towards it. And Hana, who's just been a superstar so far, what can she do to help us out here? So we're going to swing around here with Mikey. All right, Marky rather. All right, and thinking about taking a shot. All right, because we need to make some noise here. Not a ton, so suppressor here. And I wondered to myself, is it optional? Which is definitely something to think about. So there might be situations where you might want to generate lots of noise and not use the suppressor, but we'll keep it simple and say it's always on. So anyway, take our shot here. It takes out the cover. Take another shot here, and it bounced off the ball and hit that patrol, if you saw that little nudge. Okay, so, and if you notice, we're out of line of sight, so there is no reaction fire. So this is why those little arrows at the thresholds and the corners are important. So anyway, I've got a hostage out, our second hostage. Okay, we've still got to find one more. We've got our secondary objectives and other objectives found. So we know where that hostage is. So we are now converging towards it, and we've given up. George has given up on that door. Forget it. We got to get away from that noise. All right, now in this case we've got 2 noise markers. So where are we going to go? And we decide to stick it far away, and hopefully we won't spawn any noise to the right anymore. All right, so unfortunately we're going to spawn 1 patrol here on a roll of 1. That's exactly what we did not want, because 1 is the green path, which means it'll appear right there in the green box. All right, so unfortunately George is making a run for it, and now he's in a sort of crossfire. So those 2 tangos take cover. All right, and now they'll take their shots at him. Alrighty, and here we go. So first misses, great, and our second one in the back misses also. What are the odds? Okay, so we're feeling good here. The noise will go down. We've got no noise on the board, and I forget to put the alert marker, that 4 noise. So there should have been, I think I was just celebrating so much, so keep in mind there should have been 4 noise there, a huge amount of noise, and unfortunately I just did not do it. So my mistake right there. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on. Hannah's going to go ahead and move up, kick open the door, and she's going to go ahead and move in. She uses her last bit of movement here to reveal our 3rd hostage, our 3rd and final hostage. All right, so let's go ahead and pop that one down. So all we've got to do is get this hostage out, and we have completed the scenario with a huge victory. All right, so Tom, we got to get him moving. He's definitely taking a beating this round as opposed to the last. And now here's the debate. Should we have him in the hallway or just at that threshold? And we decide that, you know, in the threshold he still has line of sight, so we're just going to keep him there. And that's really a nice little touch. So we're going to go ahead and make sure. So right here, they don't have line of sight to us, but we have line of sight to them. So that corner cover really does make sense, and it feels very, very real in this very kind of abstracted combat tactical game. So I love it. So we'll go ahead and take our shot here. Suppressor, we need to generate noise in this room, even though technically that 4 noise should have been in this room. So we'll go ahead and throw our noise down, because we're shooting from the corner, which is in the room. So we're going to go ahead and place that there, take our shot. It does get hit. No reaction, because it doesn't have line of sight. So technically it shouldn't have done this, so I was kind of glad that it missed. And actually I'm kind of iffy about that. So sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and move the rest of our seals. We got to get our team out of here. We've got noise in this room. That one's going to go ahead and move into the room. We're going to go ahead and spawn. Now keep in mind I should have rolled 3 dice here. So 1, 2, or 3 would have spawned. So maybe we would have had no spawns anyway. But it's definitely something to consider. And right here, that Tango is going to go ahead and take cover. Go ahead and take a shot and a miss. Wow. The dice were really with me on this game. So I think I took such a beating in that last one because of how I was spawning everyone incorrectly. Anyway, Hana's going to go ahead and move this hostage. So she uses all of her movement to move the hostage twice. Total of 10 spaces. Tom's going to go ahead and move the hostage once right here, and technically cannot move it again because he's no longer in line of sight. So he's going to just follow right along in the wake of that hostage. So this just feels cool. Hostage, come on, go this way, and then sweep up behind him. So this movement right here really does feel nice. So I really do appreciate it in this game. So anyway, the rest of the team, we're going to go ahead and sweep out of here just as quickly as we can. All right, so Marky here is going to go ahead and generate some noise. So we want all of this noise behind us. So technically with spawning this would be a problem. So the only reason I do it here is because I think there's only the 1 noise marker. I probably would not have done this if that 4-point noise marker was here. All right, now keep in mind, I'm not trying to shoot that patrolman. I do not want 2 tangos spawning randomly. I want to keep that guy alive. All I wanted to do was make some noise and keep it there. So yeah, definitely a little bit of a mistake right here. Might have had to deal with some tangos spawning. in the path of trying to get that hostage out of here. Because with one shot, the hostages would die. Now, I have rescued 2 hostages, which is technically a success. But, you know, as with everything else, you definitely want a perfect success or a great success. So we're going to go ahead and use our movement here and use it twice. So that's it. The hostage is gone. And with that, all our primary objective, secondary objectives are clear. And that means we have a seal victory. The gathered intel provided us the name and location of the financier, Jeanette Gauldam, a known underworld banker specializing in criminal and terrorist enterprises. She's a bad actor, and we've got to take her out of circulation. I don't know how... I probably butchered that French name. I don't speak French. But there it is, another playthrough, and fully successful. So, really like the game. The movement in this game, in this scenario over the last one, really felt good, especially when you have to hustle those hostages around. It really has a good feel. I'm glad that I figured out, also remembered how to spawn better. So things to watch out for, definitely the spawning, line of sight can be tricky, and dealing with the reaction fire, but otherwise, a really clean game. Highly recommended. Hope you guys check it out, and thank you for stopping by. Bye.